right, welcome to the bottom line. Yesterday, Nigeria's Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami dismissed the report of the Lagos State Panel of Inquiry on victims of police brutality, saying it was influenced by hate speech and dramatic scenes. Speaking during a televised interview, Malami said the panel had employed unorthodox means to impose its recommendations and called for fresh comprehensive investigation. Well, let's hear Malami speak.
It has generated a lot of controversies, a lot of disputes, and you cannot approve whatever possibilities, inclusive of the possibilities of fake news associated with it, possibilities of hate speeches associated with it, possibilities of imposition of, in fact, even drama scenes for the purpose of establishing a point. It all depends on the perspectives from which you look at it.
Malami said the panel had employed unorthodox means, I said it earlier, to impose its recommendations and called for fresh comprehensive investigations. Well, Malami's positions appears reflective of the federal government's position on the Lekki shootings of October 2020. Several times, the Minister of Information had denied that there was no killing at the Lekki toll gate. Even Minister of State for Labor and Employment Festus Keyamo tended towards the notion recently. Well, late on Tuesday, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State asked some activists, youth activists, to join him. Well, activists generally, to join him on a walk of peace just prior to the release of the white paper. Subsequently, when the white paper was released, the Lagos State government dismissed the claims by the Doris Okwobi-led panel that 9 persons died, insisting that there was just one fatality. Well, quoting the Lagos State government now, it said the government in the white paper said the inconsistencies and contradictions in the entire report concerning the number of persons who died at the toll gate on the fateful day and the cause of death rendered the panel's findings and conclusions thereon as totally unreliable and therefore unacceptable. So this morning on the program, Bottom Line will get to speak to the youth representative on the Lagos panel of inquiry, Mr. Temitope Majekodunmi. And we'll also be speaking with Comrade Ayodele Adewale, a former mobilization and liaison officer of Pro-National Conference Organization under the leadership of late Chief Anthony Nahoro. He's also former secretary, June 12 Coalition and stakeholders under later Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti's leadership and a member of NADECO, immediate past executive chairman Amu Ward of local government and a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State. These are the guests that we will be speaking with on the program this morning. All right, we just carry on with first guest on the program this morning, Mr. Temitope Majekodunmi. Mr. Temitope Majekodunmi is the youth representative on the Lagos State Panel of Inquiry in Lagos State. Well, good morning, Mr. Majekodunmi.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. At Bottom Line on Equals 92.7 FM, we will definitely see if we can still connect with the other guest on the show this morning, Comrade Ayodele Adewale, who's also joining us via telephone from Lagos. So, Mr. Majekodunmi, first, let's get off to your thoughts on all the controversial reactions to the leaked report. Let's start on that premise. Let's get your thought. Let's get your reaction to that on all the controversies, the contentious issues that have dominated the polity on the leaked reports.
Yes, thank you for having me. The leaked report, like I've always reiterated, that it was a surprise, even though there's no excuse as to how or why it was leaked. You know, it was the wrong thing from any person who had leaked it to the public. You know, by law, we don't feel that's the procedure. You know, but then if you now look at it on the second thought, you will see that in this particular instance, it seems to be in a way advantageous, you know, if the leak report was out and certain elements, specifically at the federal level, would make, you know, comments and would not want to stay within the premise of law to address the issue. But then they started making assertions, which the assertions they are making has never been different from that which they've been making from the beginning of the assignment itself. Even while the assignment was going on, they keep making, and you understand that the leaked report, whoever has leaked it, must have leaked it because, in a way, and not even in a way, it has been proven again and again that people in authority cannot be trusted to doing the right thing. You know, so basically, on the leak report, that is what I have to say.
But Mr. Majekodunmi, you were on that panel.
Very well.
And so we want to believe that members of that panel will have been the custodians of the reports and perhaps the chairperson. So who do we now hold responsible? Or should we say that this was a deliberate attempt and a calculated action by the panel? Because you said that it was a blessing in disguise. You just mentioned that now, emphasizing what the government's reaction would be.
Sure. So you would, holding anybody responsible, I would say to you today, to the public, that you can hold the entire panel responsible.
The entire panel, including yourself?
Yes, including myself. Okay. Hold all of us responsible. The deed has been done, so there's no point pushing, apportioning blame. We are not like our leaders that who don't want to take responsibility.
So was it deliberate? Was it deliberate?
It's not.
To let the citizens have the report before it gets to the government.
It's not deliberate. But I am saying that the aftermath of the leak, we as a panel take full responsibility.
Okay.
So we wouldn't say Temitope did or Femi or Bayo on the panel did. You understand? As a whole, as a panel, and you will see that even responses to the leaked report or the original, the submitted report itself, the attack coming to the panel is not isolated. We've been attacked as a whole. So there's no point saying, but then if I would like to add to say that.
Hello?
Yes, I'm with you. I would
Okay.
like to have to say that the report of the panel ordinarily should have been read out in an open court.
All right.
When we concluded, why did I say this? Is because the proceedings of the panel itself, from the very beginning to the last week, was an open panel. It was a public panel.
All right.
And the other side of it is that even the government are a party to it. So how then do you now say, because the white paper has suggested a lot of reasons why there were doubts from the very beginning.
Okay.
So it's why I said even the leak is a blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing in disguise. Okay, well, just give me a minute and see if we can connect with your other guest right now. I believe he's now available to join us, Mr. Ayodele Adewale. Just a minute, hold on and stay on the line, Mr. Majekodunmi. Just a minute. Well, Mr. Majekodunmi, I think we should just go ahead right now. Are you there? Mr. Majekodunmi, are you there? Hello? Hello, Mr. Majekodunmi. All right, Mr. Majekodunmi, I think we should just carry on. He might still not be available right now. He tried reaching also. We also tried to reach him, but yet he's still not picking the call right now. He might be a bit busy. So we should just carry on with our conversation right there. And let's move to another angle right now. I'm sure you must have, by now you must have seen the copy of the Lagos State government white paper that labeled your report as inconsistent and contradictory. So in the light of this government's position, have you, in retrospection, cast doubt on the quality of the conclusions of your report?
Never. None of the panel members, including myself, we have never casted doubt as to our clear findings and our clear position.
Clear findings?
Yeah, they are clear. Extremely clear. Very clear. Very, very clear. So, you know, what here is, like I said to you,
all right.
Government is a party. And holding a position, same position they've been holding on the report, even before it was out, at the federal level, majorly. You know, so the white paper only communicated what they felt is best, that suits them. But here is what is important, and why people should not take the white paper seriously. So imagine a situation where an incident happens, the youth as a constituent is lying for the 1 year.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, I think we have other guests right now. Let's connect both guests on the show this morning. Well, Mr. Majekodunmi, just a minute so that we can connect to the other guest quickly right now. All right, good enough. We have both guests on the show right now. Mr. Temitope Majekodunmi, you're still there, I believe.
Very well.
All right, and Mr. Ayodele Adewale, thank you for joining us on the show at last.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate you. Well, our time is fast spent already. It took us some time to connect with you. We've already been speaking with the youth representative on the Lagos State Panel of Inquiry, Mr. Temitope Majekodunmi. Mr. Majekodunmi, you are talking about the Lagos State government reports, talking about the white paper that labeled your report as inconsistent and contradictory. So go ahead with your submission.
So, the word inconsistent and contradictory is the only reference that I see clearly from the white paper is in respect to a paragraph, a page 288M. You know, in a report that has 309 pages.
All right.
And in one of the pages, you could only lay hand on a paragraph. We have a paragraph A to C in that particular section 7 of the report, and you could only lay hold on the M portion to now use that as a basis to say, oh, it is a reason for controversy. It is, this is why we say there is controversy in this, there is controversy in that. I would say this why I said our report is so clear. Now, in investigating Lekki incident, two things were done. Two things that are important were done by the panel. First is that we never listened to claimants. And when I mean claimants, people who claim to have been injured at the toll gate. All right. They weren't the first we listened to. The first thing the panel went into for more than 10 months was the proper investigation. First, to establish if army came there, if army shot, what kind of shot was it? Live, blank? That we established first. With the help of professionals, medical doctors, pathologists, forensic experts. Now, the second was to also find out that, okay, there are claimants saying, oh, we don't have problem with army. It was police that later came and shot us. Now, we also have to establish if truly the police were there. Because all of the inconsistency they are referring to is in regards to claimants, not in respect to the findings of if army police came there and they truly shot at people. The report is holistic. All right. You cannot pick M and say because this one suits you, and then you can now say it's a heading for inconsistency. That can never be true. And you know, a government says the youth are lying for 1 year. Now the panel you set up now has done its work. Now the panel has joined the team of liars. So it means that in the entirety of state, it is only the government that is saying the truth. Now, if you know that what you are saying is the truth, what's the need for a panel at first?
Well, okay, quickly, let's move on to speak with the second guest this morning, Mr. Ayodele Adewale. Mr. Ayodele Adewale is a former mobilization and liaison officer of the Pro National Conference Organization, Pro NACO. And of course, the immediate past executive chairman, Amu Wardofin, local government area, chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, Mr. Ayodele Adewale. Thank you once again. We appreciate you. So,
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Adewale, let's look at it this way. There is a sense that, just like Mr. Majekodunmi mentioned, that the government's position is not surprising because this has always been their position from the get-go. So there is a sense that government is vehemently trying to cover tracks, as insinuated in the panel report. Do you think the white paper by the state government has done enough justice to the events of October 2020, and the sensibility of people who said they have suffered some losses in connection to the police brutality?
Well, thank you for having me. First and foremost, let me commend your station for finding time to get across to me this morning, all the way from Ekiti State. And secondly, to commend this last speaker and every member that participated in that judicial panel.
All right.
It was a voluntary service which they gave, to have given all of their time for over 1 year, and to also give their experiences and their accounts. Also to commend the Lagos State government to have established a panel and making sure that that panel saw the day of light, and to have also funded the activity of the panel, even though members did not collect any gratification or payment for their service. I commend them all. I also commend your station again for creating the platform for us to share our thoughts and trying to find a lasting solution to this problem on ground.
All right.
May I just quickly elucidate so that we don't get confused whether I am supporting the government or I am supporting civil society. I'm here to make sure that there's a bridge so that we can solve this problem, prevent it in future, and help the Nigerian state. My name is Ayodele Adewale. I was a former student activist under the military junta. We were the last bastion of foot soldiers that fought the military to make sure that we achieve democracy in Nigeria. I was a former president of Lagos State University.
Mr. Adewale, I'm sorry, because of the short period at time disposal.
Your line is breaking, sir.
Sorry, because of the very short period we have, I just want us to go straight to address these issues right now, because I've already introduced you properly, even before you came on board.
Sir. To the issue on ground, we must appreciate that we are governed by law, the rule of law, and by fact. And the law only sees facts. Besides our narrative, you could have a very good case, and if the facts are not well aggregated, then it can be put aside in law. The Lagos State government have not said that there was no crisis.
Okay.
The Lagos State government did not say that soldiers were in there.
All right.
The Lagos State government did not say that people are not yearning for police reforms. What the Lagos State government did say, if you had read the position of the statement of the Attorney General of Lagos State, had only picked out some of the facts in the panel, especially as it concerns death. And if you remember, there was a pathologist that was brought to that panel, and the pathologist based his assertion dead bodies that was picked across the state. And the pathologist also did carried out examination on about 3 bodies, if I'm not wrong, that was said to have been found at the incident place, which was at the Lekki toll gate. And the pathologist did say that there was a particular body that was pierced by a sharp object and all of that. And based on what, and there were some part of the panel paper that are beyond the jurisdiction of the Lagos State government, which the Lagos State government have said they will push to the federal government. And for those that were within the jurisdiction of the Lagos State government, they have promised to continue to work on it and make it perfect. The Lagos State government even did work on other recommendation that was brought to the panel as concerns the panel's recommendation for reparation for people who have lost loved ones, not at Lekki toll gate, but from police brutality in the past.
Right.
And of course, to policemen who were killed in the course of duty, to also give reparation to their loved ones, their dependents, members of their family. The government of Lagos is very listening to the yearnings of people. The government of Lagos did not even intend to frustrate the activity of the panel. The government of Lagos even seemed to be as much as providing more time for the panel when they requested for it. A lot of the panelists are not people that I know from afar. I do know Big Sam. Big Sam is Ebo Onogorua. He was a student activist from Obafemi Awolowo University. I know Barrister Shina Ogolano very well for over 22 years. He was also a student leader from Lagos State University. I might not know the young ones that are operating in recent time. I know Barrister Farotimi. Farotimi was 3 years ahead of me as president of Lagos State University before I became the president. So I'm an activist myself. You understand? And I'm to a casualty of police brutality in the past. I do not have time to have shed more light on my history and what we have done in the hands of the police. But we should be looking at how do we resolve these things and make sure justice is established.
Exactly, justice. Mr. Adewale, exactly, justice. So, exactly, you talked about justice. So that's why I'm asking.
And that is why the Lagos State government is calling for a fora whereby we can engage. The fora can be in any form. Can be a walk, can be in a talk show, can be in a symposium. Those are things that will be collected to making sure that this kind of gap is not created anymore and justice is served to whoever. And we should also remember that the judiciary is still there.
But my question is this, Mr. Ayodele Adewale. Sorry for cutting it. You know, my question is just simple. Just to look at the white paper and the reaction of Lagos State government. And do you think that that would actually do justice to the events of October 20?
Sure.
Or don't you think that it will a bit raise dust again?
No. You see, we should live above, or we should think above or outside the box, if I may use that word.
Oh, well, go ahead. Use the box.
The Lagos State government have only acted on the basis of information. From the panel that was put before it. The governor of Lagos State cannot act as Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, even if he is very, very, how will I put it now? Very sympathetic.
Okay, Mr. Adewale,
the governor will have to. Sorry, sir. Let me just close.
All right.
The governor will have to push the document to the Ministry of Justice to look at this document, then advise him. Look thoroughly along the lines. Look at the evidence before it, then advise the government of Lagos on its position. And I'll close by giving you a critical example, sir, if you just allow me.
Well, because of our time, we have just 15 minutes to go on the program.
I know, sir. Just give me 10 seconds, sir. There was an incident of such that happened in Israel between the United States and the Israeli government. President Obama went to speak as President Obama. The American government condemned that statement and said that was not the policy of America. America has its own foreign policy. Obama cannot speak as Obama. Mr. Sanwo-Olu cannot speak as Mr. Sanwo-Olu. Mr. Sanwo-Olu, Governor Sanwo-Olu must speak as the governor of Lagos State on the basis of the evidence in that document. as advised by the Ministry of Justice.
All right.
We must understand this very well.
All right. Well, quickly, let's move to Mr. Majekodunmi. Mr. Majekodunmi, let's. I believe you listened to Mr. Adewale, but I don't know. When we look at that report, the report indicted the number of security operatives, but the Lagos State government says it can only recommend their prosecution to the federal government. And beyond that, these two sides agree. Is there a sense that the content of your report can provide stimulus for families of these victims to sue such security agencies to courts?
Very well. So, thank you for asking that question, because I feel that, but before I would like to commend my senior comrade on the other line.
All right.
Fair enough, Lagos State really has shown good faith to some extent, I must say, except for certain individuals, at the federal and but Lagos State has shown very good faith all along. But then, if I would come to your question, in the work of the panel in itself is not an end. Or let me say, the report of the panel is not an end in itself. Okay. It is a means to an end. If the panel has said certain officers, military, and all that have been indicted, they still, within the confine of law, will still have to defend themselves at a proper court of competent jurisdiction.
All right.
So it is not holistic to say that, the panel has said they are indicted, so they need to go and behead them, or they need to send them to life imprisonment. The panel is not the court. How is to work on findings, which we have done.
Okay.
And maybe one thing that the government at the moment, in its entirety, one thing they are losing sight on is the fact that this report will surely outlive them. Regardless of the white paper, the report of the panel will surely outlive them. It is a panel constituted by law. A government tomorrow can come up and show interest in it and review it again and again. So if they are giving white paper position as though it is the final submission and the whole matter has ended there, what we are saying is that you are still not showing that full responsibility.
All right.
Now, I would want to quickly say something on what
Mr. Adewale,
my senior comrade has said.
All right.
Before the paragraph M, there is paragraph K that I would love to read out.
Okay.
And which, very quickly, one of the protesters who was shot and taken for death, Olamide Konstanosi, eventually escaped to narrate his ordeal and experience, stated that at least 11 corpses were in the van. Where he had been put in and presumed dead. Another witness before the panel, Dabira Ayiku, also testified that she saw 7 bodies being put into a military truck at the Lekki toll gate same night. Now, the panel now says in its concluding findings there that both sets of evidence were uncontroverted. Why are these two evidence uncontroverted? The Nigerian army, who is the alleged in this manner or in this particular instance, never came before the panel to defend itself.
The Nigerian army never came?
They never came before the panel to defend themselves.
Okay.
Now, initially I had told you that the investigation was in 2 different forms. One form is the investigation itself. If they truly were there, if they truly came, they shot and all that. The second phase of the investigation is in respect to claimants, people who gave evidences against them. When the Nigerian army showed up, it was only to come and give an account of their activities at the toll gate.
Okay.
As at the time claimants came in to start accusing them of certain things,
okay,
they refused.
They did not come back. Okay, because themselves. I was going to say, but the army appeared. Okay.
As panelists, we would never descend into the arena to now start substituting evidence ourselves.
All right.
You must come with your own counsel to tell us your part of the story. which they never did. And this evidence stands uncontroverted.
All right, okay. Well, I will. Let's move to some other issues right now. You stay, you stand by that report, and you definitely reject the position of the Lagos State government in the white paper that your report is inconsistent and contradictory. So you stand by that. Well, let me quickly talk to Mr. Adewale now about Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu extending invitation to some people. Mr. Majekodunmi, you were also invited to as a guest member of your panel to join for a peace walk, I guess.
Yes, I was.
Okay, well, so Mr. Adewale, now we've listened to music artist Fowles, comic actor Mr. Macaroni and co. As they actually spoke concerning that peace walk. They pointed to a seeming conspiracy by the Lagos State government to not bring those indicted to justice. So, do you think that the work of peace may not have been necessary, especially since justice is the key thing that people are demanding for now, Mr. Adewale?
Well, let me first start by saying that the governor of Lagos State is not just the governor for the people of Lagos or just living in Lagos. He's the governor of the people who might have dissenting views on matters.
All right.
He's the governor of people who might have contradictory views. And he's the governor of the people who, of course, might have popular views. He's the governor of all.
All right.
And as a governor, his major task is to protect life and property at any expense, even as it is right now. His first task is to make sure that the area is peaceful, permissible, even for those who have divergent views to continue to push on with their views from the point of law.
All right.
So if the governor have decided to, and the government of Lagos have decided to organize a walk in order to create a peaceful environment for all agitation, for all economic development, social development, and all and sundry for human strata of development to continue, I think the governor should be commended. And for those who have refused to come, they have the right of refusal. I can invite you to my party. You could decide not to come. Invite you to a walk. You could decide not to come. But that does not mean that the governor is angry about it. No. He believes that we must continue to engage, we must continue to talk until it is Uhuru. It is not Uhuru yet. We all know that the system is not up.
All right.
It's work in progress. But for Mr. Macaroni, I hold in high esteem. Falano, I hold in high esteem. These are people perhaps we have met at the barricade once or before. The fact that I'm a politician does not mean that I'm far from reality.
All right.
Politics is a means of administrating good governance and all of that. So I believe that they should not throw away the opportunity to engage the state.
Okay.
And mind you, our Nigerian constitution is very incoherent. And that is why during the lifetime of Chief Anthony Onahoro of blessed memory, as the head of the Pro-National Conference Organization, where I was, as little as I was then, I was the mobilization and liaison officer of Pronaco. Professor Wale Soyinka was the deputy.
Okay.
Dr. Becker and Something was the vice. We worked tirelessly for a people's constitution. As it is now, there are some things that the panel would want to be done, but the governor does not have the powers to implement it based on the contradictory nature in the Nigerian constitution.
All right.
And that is why we have called for a sovereign national conference.
Okay, we'll come back to all of these. Our time is fast spent.
Nigeria is a federation.
Mr. Adewale, we will have loved.
The power
we
to
will have.
determine what happened within his constituency.
All right, Mr. Adewale, we would have loved if you had joined us earlier, so we'll have been able to have a more robust conversation. But of course, our time is fast spent right now. Mr. Majekodunmi, so we're talking about the peace walk right now. Governor Sanwo-Olu extended the invitation to you for the peace walk. Would you be joining that walk?
I think myself and Pals and Macaroni, the three of us, had not said no, that we are not going to join.
Okay, Macaroni has not said it will not. Okay,
is that it is not the right thing to do for us at this moment. We are a peace-loving people. We are not an enemy of faith. Personally, I am saying on air that I have personal respect for the Mr. Governor in Lagos.
Okay. Very
personal respect. But here he's saying that justice precedes peace. Justice. Even when justice prevails, there is no point calling for peace work, because automatically what you have everywhere in the air and everywhere is peace. So there are still many persons agree.
All right.
If you are now saying peace, peace work, peace work, peace work, it is important. We would love to join the peace work only if justice is seen to be done.
So you are not likely to join as we speak right now. You have made
in the light of reality.
In the light of reality,
justice precedes peace work.
So okay, you believe that justice. So you believe that justice has not been done, and there is the peace work is not necessary right now.
Not necessary right now.
Okay, well, just a minute to just say our buys on the program this morning. I know Mr. Ayodele has a lot to say, but just in 30 seconds, Mr. Ayodele Adewale, let me get your final remark on the program this morning.
Sorry, the line is humming. Can you come again, please?
Sorry, I said we're just about wrapping it up on the program. Our time is fast spent. I said, so let me get your final remark. 30 seconds.
Well, my final remark is that for us to achieve peace, we must all work together in this line of attainment of peace. Even during the Holocaust, the Jewish people did not work in isolation. They worked with the global community. And today they are better off.
All right.
Even their supposed enemies, which were the Nazis in Germany. Today, the Jewish, the Israeli have good relationship with the Germans.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We must make sure that justice is served. But we cannot do it in isolation.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ayodele Adewale. I appreciate you so sincerely. Temitope Majekodunmi, let's get your final shots.
So, very well, I'll just say that in as much as we are not in any way willing, as panelists, as youth, we are not in any way willing to jettison peace.
All right.
We are not an enemy before now. We love the peace. We love the concept of peace work. But here is to say that there are still many aggrieved that needs to find closure. And once that closure is seen, automatically we all would live in peace and hold the path.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Temitope Majekodunmi, youth representative on the Lagos State panel of inquiry, and Mr. Ayodele Adewale. We sincerely appreciate you, immediate chairman, Ward of local government area in Lagos State, and of course, an activist as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We sincerely appreciate you. We hope to get you some other time. Bye for now and have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. That's the show for today. Many thanks to Samuel Lugwemini, my producer, my executive producer, Jide Ogunli. Join us for the final installment tomorrow, Friday. Bye for now.
Treasures are hard to find. It's like the limitless search for the grail.